Mazzarella, and Fire Chief, Police Chief, Environmental Inspector, Captain of the Police Department. Wendy Weeks is our grant writer in media. Amanda Curtis is our Small Business Economic Development Department, as well as Melissa Tasca. And did I miss anybody there? Our Director of Library Services. And we operate as a team, and everybody sort of has multiple tasks in a situation like this. If you haven't noticed, it's raining again, and I'm sure everybody's seen the weather. Are we concerned? Yes, but we have multiple other areas of town that we're working on, and simultaneously trying to keep an eye on the weather like everyone else is. So thus far, to bring you up to date, a whole lot of work has been done in a couple of days, and we want to thank, the governor was out here, the lieutenant has been on the phone with me, Lieutenant Governor, a number of times. We thank them. I think the governor out here yesterday came to 5 or 6 different locations in the city, and firsthand can see the devastation. The good thing is everyone is safe, and we're happy for that. There were a number of rescues that were made. The shelter at Francis Drake School is currently open. There are a few people there. They will be relocated to hotels later in the day. Everyone has returned back to the trailer park where they had to be rescued by the fire department, and at 100 Main Street, which is that 7-story elderly high-rise right downtown. They are, our city electrician was here to kind of update us on it. They are, have a generator that's running like elevators in some of the common areas of the building. Brought in that big generator. We're waiting. There's one inspection that has to be made by the state, and then they can start replacing the equipment there. And so we've had a number of Red Cross and Salvation Army. We had a number of city agencies bring in food. So the tenants in the building so far have been happy, but obviously we'd like to get them fully restored. Now, some of the bigger projects that you've seen out there, I think everybody's seen some of the larger ones that are out there, are going to actually take not days but weeks. And if you representative from the railroad was here, and obviously he can speak with him directly, that is going to be a little bit of a delay, but they're trying to get the train as far as Leominster, where they can use the parking garage and take people from there. So they'll possibly have to keep busing people from West Fitchburg and then into the downtown Fitchburg area, and then bus them to that station in North Leominster. So that is evolving. Some streets we've been able to open up one lane. How fast can we get the other lane on Mechanic Street and Hamilton Street? It could be weeks before we can get those areas open. They're just not safe enough to open up both ways. These are large, I'm sure you've seen the large gaping holes, and our priority had to be the Reservoir and Barrett Park. And Reservoir was taken care of, and Barrett Park, it's underway. They're actually building a road to get the equipment in, but they're already hauling material in. So that will stabilize things as we deal with this next rainstorm today, and the possibility that the hurricane moves in our direction. So that will stabilize those areas. We didn't realize, we were up there Monday night, didn't realize in the pouring rain where we were standing, how close we were for that, to not know the difference between what was solid ground, wet ground, and what was actually erosion. And so we've had dam safety go there. Our engineers have been working up there, so that's under control. Fire department and fire departments around the region had to help evacuate below the reservoir, and that went fine. I'm not sure how many people took use of that, but we did notify everybody. We put out code red. And the thing with this storm is it's a whole bunch of pieces. There's like not just flooded basements or flooding. It's obviously it's a multitude of things, and so we're trying our hardest to at least get most roads open, at least to one lane. But we feel, in discussion with the superintendent, and they've been great. The superintendent, her staff, her whole team, they had to deal with some serious issues with 2 of the schools in particular, as she describes. One of them was like a mudslide. But we're okay with opening the schools. Is the superintendent here? Is she here? All right. So we're okay opening the schools on a delay tomorrow, but we just the safest place right now is for kids to be in schools. And so we'll be opening school tomorrow on a delay, and we're going to have extra people power tomorrow to navigate around the city and help the school buses. We have about 22 school buses on the street at different times. So first they pick up the high school kids, then they move on to middle and then to elementary. So at different times of the morning. So we're confident we can get them. We might, even with a delay, we might be a little late on some of the school buses because you can't get up Pleasant, you have to go up Union. There are all those logistical things, but we feel that the best place for these kids, especially the second week, full week into school, is probably school. That's where we can feed them. And so even though it's a delay tomorrow, it's a good exercise into whether or not we can get everybody there. And again, we might be a little slow. I'm asking everybody, just have some patience. Some people know the city. I don't know where the GPS is set up, so that it knows where the detours are. But patience would really help. Today, Wendy Weeks is our grant writer for the city, and tells me that, just so there's no confusion, Barrett Park, and we're going through FEMA for these grants. First grant was to get engineering done to that, to that area, and so we could take it. I mean, if you go up there, it's a nice little pond, but it's got this dam, and we know that the integrity of it is sketchy. So we applied for the funding, got the funding, so the engineering and the plans is all done. Now we have to file for another grant based on the documents that we have, and hopefully we'll get that grant so we can completely do over the dam. What we're doing now is a temporary fix. It's going to stabilize it, and it's good through the storm, but it's not a permanent fix. So we're in a number of different locations in the city, and we're a far cry from where we were on Monday because we didn't understand where we were Monday, but we all got together and did what we had to. We were in crisis mode. Tuesday was a little better. We have our arms wrapped around these projects a little better today than we did yesterday, but we're still talking weeks for some of these projects. Early estimation is we could go anywhere from $25 to $40 million worth of infrastructure. That's just city infrastructure. Today we're trying to work on what assistance we can get to our businesses and our homeowners. Homeowners are finding out that in many cases they're not covered with insurance. And so we're trying to help them out. We're going to do extra trash pickups. People found things in their basements, and normal trash pickup is not going to handle it, so we're working on that. We have sump pumps. This is the emergency management building. We've done, I don't know, 50 or 60, there's still another 50 or 60 on there. We're filling sandbags. We have volunteer groups. We also have set up with the United Way, we have a Leominster Relief Fund, which we use for fires and other issues. And you can help us because everyone's calling us saying, how can I help? And can I donate some money? We haven't been in that position to be able to accept anything at this particular point because we're in crisis mode. So we have a couple of funds set up at the United Way, and one is the Relief Fund at the City Hall, but it's it's Northwest County. It's United Way of North Central Mass and the Leominster Flood Relief Fund, and that's where people can make checks to. Anyway, I mean, we raise money every year for the heating assistance program. Sometimes it's $5 and sometimes it's $500, and we get everybody through the heating season. Our goal is to get everybody cleaned up and get them back to, get things back to normal as fast as we can. So I think I've touched on all the big things. I don't want to speak specific for the railroad, but that's not a quick fix. Getting the train closer to Leominster is more of a quick fix, but long term, I think everybody's been out there, and there is no way. One lane is open near the fire station in Central Street as a result of that erosion that happened at the railroad, and so one lane is open for public safety to get through, but it's not open for residents. Thus far this morning, I have to say, unless everybody took a vacation day, we moved a lot of people through a lot of streets, and quite efficiently and organized. And we intend to do that tomorrow and into the future. But tomorrow is a test for us and the superintendent. We've agreed best place is for those kids is in school, so we'll be on a delay. But we'll have incredible amount of resources out there. So if a driver or bus driver gets confused and not sure where to go, we want them to stop, pull over, we'll dispatch a public safety vehicle to them and escort them in and around. If that means escorting them through the whole bus route, we will.
When you say not a quick fix for the commuter rail, how long can people expect to take
shuttle
buses?
Is he still here? Did he happen to leave? I mean, you're talking, you saw it. it's major infrastructure. Talking corrugated pipe and fill, truckload after truckload after truckload of fill. I don't want to try to guesstimate, but I think a couple weeks, you know, anytime sooner will be a bonus, but that's big. Yeah. And remember, they have to hold back the area there because you've got the elevation up here, down below in the next street is 30 or 40 feet. That's big.
Were there any schools that were damaged? And if so,
Northwest School Superintendent?
Yes.
And high school.
And are you guys prepared to do remote learning for those schools, or will
No,
students be
we have
returned?
a plan in place that we, let me
Do you
go
mind?
there.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Superintendent Paula Deacon.
Thank you. So at this time, Leominster High School, the damage has been addressed. It will not impede anyone from coming to school. Northwest took on quite a bit of water and mud. We have at least 7 classrooms that we have a flex schedule and plan. Staff is working with the principal right now to figure out where we can place them. Some will be in gymnasiums, some will team teach, but all children will be in person. We feel it's really, it's our responsibility. We want to make sure that we have our eyes on our students and that our kids are fed, whatever it's going to take. So with the 2-hour delay tomorrow, we are still going to ask staff to come in at the regular scheduled time. That will allow all of these plans and discussions to happen so that we're ready to go and hit the ground running.
And to be clear, the buses will still be able to run, it's just gonna be about patience with
Yes.
road
It will be
closures.
about patience. We're working with the bus company right now. I've asked the mayor to have as many people out on traffic duty as possible to reroute. This is going to be a test. Slow and steady wins the race, and we will stay in constant communication. If there's a bus stop that may not be there right now or be accessible, we will work with those families. We have a contact down at my office who will be speaking directly to Office of Emergency Management as well. So parents know how to get a hold of us. They use it quite often, and we will be going back and forth.
Mayor, it's raining steadily outside
It is,
right now.
yes.
Your concerns, can the city handle more rain right now?
Well, the ground is saturated. Let's look at the science. The ground is saturated. It can't take any more. It just stopped raining yesterday morning. But we're on high alert, and we certainly have the resources here now, and we have the ability to call in mutual aid. And as we did the other night, I mean, we called in mutual aid an hour and a half into this when we realized that this was, you know, we watch the weather, and typically you can watch, you know, do the little, hit the button, it'll carry you through the weather for the next hour or two. And we hit the button and nothing changed. It just stayed right over us. So we'll watch the weather, and again, we're preparing sandbags. We have 24-hour, you know, operation here with the assistance of so many other agencies. So we're ready. If this, you know, I don't know what happens with this storm. Like I say, it's another couple of inches. I don't know how much the ground can take, but well, we're ready for whatever brings, whatever the weather brings.
What were
Mayor,
your
can
thoughts
you
when
speak
you?
to the safety of the Barrett Park Pond Dam right now? What's, you know, you mentioned it was been working now to secure it. Is it safe now? I mean, the rain that's coming down now, is that a concern with the dam and the safety of those underneath the dam?
Well, the other night we were over, I mean, the water was coming over, right? It was pushing its way through. It's subsided, so I have some capacity to take on more water there. But the crew that's there is, it's what they do, and they're bringing in material right now as we speak, and I know they'll stay right out there until it's secure. But I feel better today than I did on Monday night when I saw it.
And it'll be a while, certainly, as you said, you go through all the paperwork and everything to get the funding to really do the fix, but you're confident in the ability to kind of hold off until...
Yeah, that's I think we work with dam safety, we work with our engineers, our private engineers, and everyone agreed that this is the fix, and it makes things safe, yeah. And hopefully, when we put in our application, we have an all-star grant writer, so she's batting 99, so we're pretty confident, and I think they'll see the sense of urgency. We also have another grant in for that Moose-Knock Brook that goes through the center of the city. We also, that's pending with FEMA as well. That thing is literally, it's stable, but that's blocked off right now. That has changed in the last 24 hours where that roadway is no longer safe to allow people through. So there are a number of pending issues that we were addressing from the past that we knew about, and that's follow the grant process. These things are, you're talking tens of millions of dollars. There's just no way any community can afford this on their own. even though we've put, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars just in separation of our water, our stormwater system and our sewer system. And I can't even imagine, I mean, we would have been discharging into the river if we didn't have our separation of our stormwater and our sewer system. So the infrastructure is there. Nothing can handle I don't know if it's true, but we keep hearing it was a 500-year event, and anywhere from 9 to 11 inches, depending where you were in the city. We get 1 to 3 over 2 or 3 days, and that's a major event typically. Catch basins are being cleaned. We're trying to pump all the cellars, you know, basements, trying to do everything that anybody needs, and if they need support, they can call in on emergency lines at, you know, City Hall, 534-7500, extension 0, and we'll get them whatever help they need. But yeah, this rain sets us back a little.
Prior to this event, were there any discussions in the city about the effect climate change might have long-term on Leominster? And also the 25 to 40 million that you said was going to be spent on infrastructure, is that just to repair what was damaged, or is it also to fortify for the future? Because obviously these weather events are becoming more common.
We've spent hundreds of millions on updating wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plants, municipal buildings, drainage system. We've already done that part. I think what we look for the state and federal government is the supplemental part, the parts that no community can afford. And you know, as far as climate change, you know, you're looking at the group that went through the ice storm, went through the big snowstorm of Halloween, where it completely took the entire grid down. You couldn't drive one street in the city of Leominster. We also were the group that was our former emergency management director that December before COVID hit was doing training on epidemic. So we have been prepared as ever, whether it's global warming, whether it's climate change, whatever it is. Trains coming through town, we have a couple different railroads. This is the group that's constantly training and getting ready for potential disaster. We don't get ready after, we get ready before.
But that 25 to 40 million, is that just to repair what was damaged in this incident?
Yeah, no, you look at that bridge on, you gotta understand, a lot of the work, a lot of the damage is the work that we already did. We just finished Route 13, just finished a month ago. Route 12, we're under construction, a lot of that is new damage. A lot of the sidewalks that you see that are just hanging by a thread are all as early as last week. So we've been investing. This is just to capture those areas that we're talking about today, those gaping holes, those sinkholes, those roads that are unpassable, the bridge on Route 13, all of those. That's just that piece of it.
Is this the guy who can answer questions about the commuter
Yeah,
rail?
the commuter rail.
Hi.
He's like, yeah, go ahead and ask me.
You know, doing the best we can because of the rain. We have our contractor on scene, waiting for the water to stop, going through underneath the tracks. As soon as that's done, we'll be able to mobilize all our units over there. Hopefully by early, maybe next Monday, we can have trains at least running to North Leominster, dropping people off there, but we're still gonna have the bus between North Leominster and Fitchburg. And then hopefully by the end of next week sometime, we'll have trains running full service to Wachusett. So
What do riders need to know right now?
just bear with us, please. I know people, you know, are impatient sometimes, but just bear with us. We'll do the best we can.
Could you spell your last name, please?
P-R-O-U-L-X.
Mayor, any words for residents right now?
Yeah, they've been great. Honestly, they've built trust in us. I think they have trust in us and confidence that we respond when necessary, and that's every day, but especially in circumstances like this. And they've been excellent about being patient. And I know sometimes, you know, patience wears off because, you know, time takes a toll on people. But, you know, we've had families who have daycare, but daycare got flooded out, so they couldn't take them. And that's why it's so important that, as the superintendent said, you know, we keep an eye, you know, get the eyes on the kids and get them in and feed them and keep them busy and even some education in the middle of all that through all this chaos. But yeah, people have been excellent. They've asked us what we need, any help we could get. Volunteers are helping the, you know, pump basements and do sandbagging. It's pouring rain. There's two groups out there doing sandbags right now. And so, you just, you know, patience.
Have there been conversations with residents or between you all about flood insurance? I know not a
Yes.
lot of people here have it.
Yes. And why would you get it, I guess, right? I mean, it's one of those things. Yes, and we're trying to figure out, and I've talked to a number of insurance companies, and there are some things that people are covered for, and then other things that they're not. It looks like the flooding and the flash flooding, most people aren't, but the rain comes in through the roof, it comes in maybe through the windows, you know, the window breaks and it comes in that way. So I'd speak, you know, this is the time, nobody looks at their insurance policy. Who's gonna, they may, you know, 80 pages and can't really read it, you can't really see it, the lettering, but now's the time to have a conversation with the insurance company about what am I covered for? And get a good understanding of that. We're gonna try to make up where we can. We're gonna try to ease the burden in any way we can. As I said, extra trash pickup, sun pumps, anything that we can do to just help out. We realize how devastating this is.
And will that United Way money go towards that effort?
Some of it may, and we'll take it case by case. You know, and for tenants in a building, ask your landlord what insurance they have. They may have relocation in there. They may have insurance to pay for certain things in the building. That's a good discussion to have too with the landlord when you're a tenant.
Do you know how many were displaced from their places?
We have, I think it was like 5 houses that everything washed out around their foundation. Then you saw the Tilton Cook building where the walls are actually caving, or have caved in to the river. So we're working with them, and again, I don't have no clue, and then we have to have a better understanding of what federal pockets of money or state might be available to help them out. So if the federal, you know, FEMA money doesn't cover anything other than municipal projects, is there another, you know, fund out there to help? And that's what we're working on today.
Are you guys still advising those houses near the Barrett Park Pond to evacuate, or?
No, I think we're comfortable now with the plan. Bridge, dam safety people were out there, our engineers were out there, our private engineers were out there, and collectively they feel that this plan that's being implemented right now, it makes everyone safe. But I'll tell you, we had a discussion on scene right there, and within seconds we're like, oh no, we can't take any chances here. And luckily we were able to, a number of fire departments were here, we were able to go door to door, and police department go door to door, and at least offer for people to dislocate it temporarily until we said about that.
As far as you know, still no injuries, right?
Did we have any?
We had public safety, a few minor injuries, but we had a person that was struck by a car, a pedestrian. I don't have an update on his injuries, but he ended up having to be transported to a Worcester trauma center.
And that was directly related to the flood, or?
It happened during the flood. I don't know if it was directly related. With the heavy rain and everything, the visibility. Big thing that happened was it came right during that 5:30, 6 o'clock, everybody going home. So between Route 2 and all of our major thoroughfares, the traffic was just dead stopped.
Route 2 stopped, so
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get off Route 2. Where do you do that? Right here. And we were having our issues. So add that to our issues, and no one was going anywhere real fast. So
How should people feel driving around today? With it raining outside and these sinkholes popped up?
I've been
Did you
everywhere.
anticipate that?
I've been to every section of the city, and I didn't have to wait anyway. They got me through. And as I said, there's some roads that it's only one lane, but all those areas of concern have been blocked off. So if you're driving on the street, it's safe. Just assume it's safe.
Any idea how long it's going to take to fix Pleasant Street, that washed out road there?
Ray, weeks? Yeah.
Yeah, we have,
Oh, wait.
You gotta come up here, Ray.
never mind.
No.
Hi, I'm Raymond Racine, Director of Public Works, and we have a private contractor on site on Pleasant Street, and he's in the process of trying to replace the drain that caved in. So we're trying to get the water to flow and channel it away from the homes that are there now. It's going to take a few weeks to repair that because there's a 15-foot gaping hole there, and we got to compact. And luckily for us, Grid was out here on site, and they cut their gas pipe out of the way for us so we could get in here and work. So we have the drain to fix, we have the sewer to fix. So we'll stay at it until we fix it. That poor home there, and that's on the corner there, that's in tough shape, so hopefully they'll be okay, and we'll get in and out of there as soon as we can.
Ray, what would you say your biggest challenge is right now?
I would say the eroding sides of the roads that were all blocked off, that we're trying to get traffic and emergency vehicles through. So, I have my crews out there now, and they're trying to evaluate where we were blocked, and like the chief said, at least get one lane open so the buses can get through, and the emergency vehicles can get through, and not only the public. So we've accomplished a lot of that in one day. What we've done in 2 days has been a miracle. We've got so much done. We were really worried about the dams, and those have been replaced and repaired, not replaced, but we feel that they're safe enough where we can have people in their homes. So we feel good about that.
You know, we're 26 square miles, not 1 square mile wasn't impacted. You have storms and things that happen, and you usually find one area of concentration. And I'm not minimizing anyone else's storms or a tornado or a hurricane or anything. This has impacted 26 square miles. We're surrounded by 12 hills. Water comes from the hills. Where does it go? I mean, it's everything. It's bridges and trains and buses and houses and reservoir. I mean, it has impacted everything. And it's just an enormous job, and Ray's right. It's a miracle that we got this far. But everybody's been cooperative, all the state agencies, everyone, city agencies, school department. But we've had a little bit of practice in the past doing this, so it should be expected that we do a better job. So we'll keep at it until the job is complete.